everything you've ever wanted to know about making hunter's beef as taught to me by my Pakistani uncle. And you know those desi uncles, they don't mess with their meat. If you've never had hunter's beef before, it's essentially a Pakistani version of pastrami or roast beef. And you make it, it's a long process. I will tell you that. It takes about 4 days, but it's not hard, I promise. There's a few different ways of making it. One is store-bought masala, shaan masala mix, and the other is making your own masala. I did both versions because I'm crazy. And you can see it has this like pinkish color to it. There's a special ingredient that gets you there. I'll show you everything, break it down for you. Lots of tips and tricks that I learned from Uncle. Let's start with the ingredients. All right, these are the magic ingredients that you need, except for one, which I will talk about later. You can either go with the hunter's beef masala, which has all of these things in here, or you could just do your own, DIY your own hunter's beef masala using all of these things. So it's kind of up to you. I'm a glutton for punishment, so we're gonna try both versions and we'll compare them and see how they look. The only additional thing you need other than the hunter's beef masala is lemon juice and one more thing, which I will show you right now. This is kalmi shora. It's essentially a preservative that helps to get the meat that pinkish color. For the meat, you want to make sure it has really good marbling on there. Just have the butcher cut it up. It needs to be about a 2-pound piece of meat. This is like a top sirloin. Really doesn't matter what kind of meat you use, but it just needs to be a big hunk of boneless meat with really good marbling on it. If you don't want to use store-bought masala and make your own, which by the way, I liked it better, you need brown sugar, these black cardamom pods. If you can't find them, skip them, but I highly recommend you do find them. And then basic stuff you have in your pantry already: bay leaf, cumin, black pepper, some long or clove, ginger garlic paste, and lemon juice. Okay, secrets for success. Do not use a metal container. There could be a chemical reaction that happens between the citrus and the lemon and the metal container. So always go for plastic or glass. You do want to have something with a tight fitting lid, not like what I did here, because then your fridge will stink for 4 days and nobody wants that. Throw everything in, give it a really good massage, get everything in there. The other thing you need to do is prep the meat by piercing it with a fork or a sharp knife, not all the way through, but really get some holes in there so that marinade can really soak in. For the shaan masala version, same sort of thing, dump and go. Hold your breath, that was a lot of masala going up in my face. Also, instead of citrus, you could use vinegar, but I prefer the flavor of the citrus. And half the masala. Use half a packet, not a full packet like I did here. I'm like inhaling masala right now. That's my pro tip. You only need half a packet of masala for the meat. All right, so there's version 2, I guess, or version 1. This is the shaan masala version. I'm gonna give that a cover and let that rest overnight in the refrigerator. And then this is the first version we made with our own spices. I'm gonna let both of those rest and we'll come back and check in tomorrow morning. And now begins the 4-day process. It's really not that bad, I promise you. Every day you just gotta give it a flip, give it a little stabby. I don't know why I kept forgetting to record the stabby part, but every day you gotta give it a little stab and a little flip and a little massage, and then put it back in the fridge, and then just keep doing that for 4 days. Trust me, it's worth it. And this is where, remember I said use an airtight container because those smells are strong. And yes, even the baking soda in my fridge did not help. So airtight container, Ziploc bag, or just something with a tight fitting lid is your best friend here. Finally, we're at day 4 and one last stabby before we go in with that special secret ingredient, the kalmi shora. Kalmi shora was a bit of a challenge for me to find, but I did find it at my local Indian grocer. I just had to go to a few different ones, but it was like $3. Totally worth it. Don't buy it on Amazon. It's like so expensive on Amazon. If you can't find it, no big deal, skip it. But this is what will give you that really nice pink color on the inside of the meat. It acts as a preservative and reacts with the blood in the muscle, if you wanted to know the details. But it's worth it, trust me. Give it a good massage and let it sit for another couple of hours. I know, it's taking a while. I promise, we're almost there. Now we can cook it. You can do this on the stovetop or you can do this in the Instant Pot. I prefer the Instant Pot version for what it's worth. It's a little bit quicker. We've already gone 4 days. Let's try to cook this as quick as possible. I threw it in the Instant Pot with a cup of water, high pressure for 45 minutes, Let the pressure release naturally for about 10 minutes, and then you can quick release it. And there's one extra step, which I will get to, but if you want to do this on the stovetop, you need to cover it with water and boil it for about 4 hours. You're discarding the marinade. I don't know if I mentioned that. Make sure you discard the marinade and it's fresh water. Now, if you're really hungry, your meat is cooked and you can eat it as is, but this is the extra step that Uncle taught me that I think is actually worth it. So if you can hang on a little bit longer, take a piece of foil, shiny side in so it keeps the heat inside, wrap up your meat, your hunk of meat, into this foil ball and throw it into the oven at 350 degrees, 375 degrees for about 30 minutes. Trust me, it's worth it. When you're done, take it out, unwrap it. It already looks friggin' amazing and smells so good. But put it in for broil for another 10 minutes or so, and it's gonna have this really nice golden brown caramelization on the outside. Totally worth it. Once it's out of the oven, you do need to let it rest and come to room temperature before you cut into it so that you don't lose any of those juices that make it so moist and delicious. I was really trying not to say the word moist there, but it is the only way to describe how this meat tastes. It is divine. I love it just sliced up on a piece of toast with some horseradish mayo and some arugula. You can throw it in some pho. You can saute it into some sort of Philly. I mean, the options are endless. It keeps really well in the fridge for about 2 weeks in an airtight container. Like I said, the shaan masala version was a little too masala-y for me. I'd probably go with half the amount of masala next time. But I really, really liked my own masala version. That's just me. That's my preference. But you feel free to play around with it. Let me know if you make this. Full recipes at roostory.com. If you have any questions, hit them down below. I hope you try this. Enjoy!